Now the next steps, what I have done when the DBC was running, what I have done, I have opened another Spot instance, the new one, newer one, and I have installed the prerequisites there. Okay, so this is, I have changed the colors, so this is looks like this. Okay, now for the for this one to work, what I need to do, I have to install the Oracle full client, and thereafter I'll be installing the Golden Gate for Oracle. So what I'm going to do that, so this is the Oracle client, this is a zip file, and this is the Linux, this is a 19C Golden Gate for Oracle. Now I'll be want to show you where I have downloaded. So I have downloaded from this oracle.com. this you can go for the OTN or oracle.com downloads, and if you go to the next previous one, you can see that you can get the everything. Like I'll show you for the Oracle database. If I'll go for 19C and choose for Linux 8664, so you are I have downloaded this Oracle database RPM from here. If you go back, scroll down a little bit, the client downloaded I from here. Okay, and for Golden Gate, this is the Golden Gate. So I have done for the Linux, this one, not this one, sorry, I have done for the this one. Okay, so now I'm going to transfer this file first, similar way I have done for my Oracle software. This might be quick, so I shall come back once it's done. You can see that on my second server the files already got transferred. So I'll go to my Oracle user and files. Let me unzip my Linux one. Okay, I'm going to another session with -y command so that I can get the X window. Go to the files, client, and I will run installer to install this Oracle full client. It should be good. Yes, I'll though I need a runtime should be, or instant client should be good, but just for the safe side I'll install the administrator. I have to check these things because there is some kind of compatibility issue, but I hopefully it will work because this is just a client for me, nothing else. So let it install. It might take a couple of minutes, so I'll come back once it's done. You can see that my client's installation is almost done. I have to run the vorinst.sh through root. Okay, done. Okay, so it's done. The next steps, what I'm gonna do, so my home is somewhere, home Oracle app Oracle product 19 and client. Okay, so this is my home. Okay, okay, I'll go back and I'll do the next steps as Golden Gate for Oracle installations. So I'll unzip. I'll do it from here. Okay, so I'll go to the FBO. I have to run this run installer. Okay, so before that, let me choose set the Oracle Home. Run installer. Okay, before that, I have to create a folder where it will be my home for GG. So let me create a folder here somewhere. mkdir u01 ggs and ch own u01 ggs. So I am going to put this folder for ggs Golden Gate installation files. Now I can run installer. Figure out the reasons it was not coming this run installer, because it doesn't have any permissions on the files Oracle. So I have given the permissions. Now it should work. Okay, you can see it's come up. So I'll go for this 19C because my database is 19C. Next, software locations, U01 GGS. So I am not database look because there is no database, so I am not doing anything like that. I will be starting the manager manually, and it is very straightforward. Okay, done. Now I'll go to the UG1 GGS. I have to set path and LD library home. My Oracle home is already set. Okay, so this is the path and this is the LD library path. So if I'll do the GGSCI, okay, first I have to create subdiars. Sorry, layers. Okay, so I'll edit the param. I'll put port 7809 default port, and I'll start the manager. Okay, info all. Now my basic installation is done. The next steps, what I'm going to do that I'll be putting this, the TNS entries. I'll be for the source. I'll also create the RDS database, and I'll be doing some steps. So the next steps, what I'm gonna do, I'll just show you here. So my installations part is done. Now step in details, we have already step in details, discuss all these things details. Oracle software download, EC2 machine launch the spot instance. Oracle installation 9C I have already discussed in details. OS groups, users, swap file, installation prerequisites, automatic setups, what is automatic setups, installations, Oracle 19C, tech stacks, Oracle home. Thereafter I'll configure Oracle database. I have already shown how to do the automatic. I have done the manual way using this DBCA. I have already shown you this configuration of listeners and the TNS names. These three parts I will be doing. This will be required for the GG Golden Gate. I will be doing now. Okay. So I'll back to my source database, and Oracle home is the Oracle home, and cd Oracle home bin. So what I'm gonna do, I'll be doing multiple steps. First I'll going to enable the archive log. for that I'll shut my database first. It was okay, it is not in archive log. Check the status, archive log list. Okay, we're good. So the next things I'll be putting these replications, okay, for the supplementing data for the database. If I'll go back here, I have to create some users, create some tables, some grants and all these things. So the first things I'll be creating a table called create a user called test1. Let me see if I can connect test1. Okay, I have to keep some privilege. Grant resource. Okay, you have to give some grant resource connect, create all tables, create things, all this blah blah privileges. I'll give to test1. It's just for testing purpose. Test1 to, okay, good. Now I have to create another one user. I have to create some sample table and in some rows for user test1. So I'll connect again to test1. Okay, so I'll create this very simple table called t1, and I also add a primary key and insert .sql. Okay, I'll commit. So if I see that, select start from t1, you can, there is a 29 sub rows, sample things, and column 1 is the primary key. So this tables this is the existing rows. So I'll choose the initial load, like we'll do the expdp and impdp, and we'll be showing you the both how you can transfer the initial load as well as the changes. Okay, so now the next things what I'm doing, I'll be creating another users for replications user. So I first create a table space called OG. I think that should be fine. And the grants, and another one grant, this is also required for system level. I believe another grant would be required. This is, so my source level things are done. Now the next phase, I'll go to my, so this is done. The next phase I already done. These are also done. The next phase I am going to okay, these things already done. Now the next phase, installed target RDS Oracle database. I'll be quickly installing RDS. You all know how to create RDS database. It's very straightforward and simple, so nothing much to show you. I'll be just quickly go through with that. Okay, before that, what is required, you know that this we have to some of the parameters, non-default parameter need to be there. So I'll be creating a parameter groups. I already have a parameter groups. Let me delete it and let me show you again. Okay, say this is for Oracle 19. I'll put as a non-default 19C, and I'll copy these things. Choose these things, and I will first do that. First of all, compatible. I believe this has already been set. Yeah, it's set 19. Then we are good. The second thing is the enable golden gate replication should be true. Okay, I'll edit these parameters. True. Save changes. Okay, so we are good. Now the things I need to do that create database. Publicly accessible, not really required because it's not needed, but okay, if it is something required, if I need to log in somewhere, in case I'll put a 1, but it's not needed because I'll be choosing the same VPC, so it's not needed. Security groups, okay, I want to put it the same security groups, though it is ideally not needed for me. Okay, normally the subject of this video is a host from on-premises EC to on-premises Oracle to here. You can see there is few things need to be taken care. Here I put everything as a single VPC, maybe in a single availability zone, but it's not required anyway. Suppose you want to do that from on-premises to your AWS, then from only the things needed from on-premises to your Golden Hub thing, there should be one connections. What the connections, you need to have a TNS ping 1521 should be enabled, and file transfers. File transfer, why? Because the remote trail, the trail files should be transferred, and all these things, and database should be accessible from only the database should be accessible from 1521 from on-premises to here. And suppose your Golden Gate is also installed, installed on the RDS levels. You can put in a different zone, or it's better if it is the same zone, it is better to have in a same VPC where your Golden Hub, GG, like Golden Gate Hub is installed. From GG also your RDS, you also require 1521 should be open, because you remember that Golden Gate Hub is using, it doesn't have any remote host, it is using the same remote host and the local host same way. If you have some other requirements, suppose you are using RDS as a source, as a target, and you want to have a different zone, then you can have two different Golden Gate installations. One is one zone along with the source, another is another zone along with the destination. Thereafter, in that case, maybe that remote trail and the local trail will be different, because file will be transferred from local to remote for the source, and because the GG installation is different, or in a heterogeneous installations where suppose Oracle to Postgres, so you have to GG home would be different for host and target. So for this case is quite straightforward, just I am mentioning here just for your understanding. Okay, so what I said, my Oracle home, my GG, so I go to the security, security group is default, security group is default or default. Okay, availability zones I'll put as the same availability zone, but not required. Additional configurations, I want my as a target. This is very important, non-default 19C, because you know that we cannot change any parameters in the default parameter groups. We have to create a non-default one and change the parameters there. All these things is not important for me. You can put whatever you want. Or create database. So this is gonna take some time, and I'll come back once it's done. RDS is now available. Few things I'll be needing, okay, I'll go to my steps. I'll be needing this create sample tables, and the sample tables is not required probably because it will be created, it will be done through the expdp. So I'll be recover this replication user and grant privileges. Okay, so what I'm gonna do that, my second instance is here. This is my client machine. What I'll do, I will create a TNS entries. So why this is required, because I am going to connect through these things. I am not using any tools or something. I will be connecting through that. So I'll take the RDS endpoints, put it here, and this is my. Similarly, let me put the host names for the source as well. The host is, while my Oracle is running, this is my host. So let me put the IP. Okay, I'll also create a host. So I am having two entries, one for my target and one for my host from my client. So ideally, if I log in using my, I think, test DBA, and TNS entry is OGG target. Password if I put, yes, select name open mode from VDLR database. So I will already in the target, so that I can perform my rest of my steps. The rest of the steps is that I have to create this table space. I have to create the user, create user, OGG user, identified by welcome 123, default table space GGTBS. Okay, the quota and grants. Rest of the things will be required. I require this as well, and I don't think so. This is already been set. This is not required here. Sorry. This is required for instance higher than 12.2, and let me also create a user test 2 identified by welcome 123 grant DBA2 test 2. Okay, so my all the user grants is done. The next steps, I'll be configuring the golden gate for applications.